Welcome to Is It ADHD Your Life? A Couple's Perspective, where we unravel what it's like to live with ADHD within a relationship. And this week we're asking the question, is it ADHD Your Life? Special guest edition. And this week we've got Maddy Alexander-Grout, who, let me get this right, is an ADHD neurodivergent visibility coach, fantastic author, and has created her own very Maddyverse, which I cannot wait to get into. Hi Maddy, how are you?
Hey guys, it's lovely to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome.
Thanks
it's
for
lovely to
joining
have
us.
you on. Yes, so we're going to get straight into it now. I watched a video of yours recently on TikTok where you actually described your TikTok journey, your ADHD journey and how you started. And I'd love for you to tell our viewers kind of how that came about. So what made you go out seeking a diagnosis?
Yeah, so basically I had no idea that I had ADHD until I was 37. And I spent my entire life thinking that I was broken. Like, I felt like I was different. I struggled with friendships. I struggled with family dynamics. I struggled with life. I struggled with money. And it was tough. It was a really tough journey. But basically, I had a spending addiction from about the age of 15. Now, people think spending, I say spending addiction like it's like I'm just a little bit of a shopaholic. But when it crosses over into your life and it becomes the only thing you can think of is spending money, that that's an addiction.
Yeah.
I had I've been in debt twice now to the tune of £80,000. I've paid it off both times. I found ways that worked for me because I kept going out and listening to like all of the guru types who were like, oh, you just need to like, have more control and you just need to like, work on your mindset and all these things. And I was just like, well, that is total bullshit. So I made my own journey, paid it off really quickly. And basically it was kind of like a game. It was like, should I have gone bankrupt or should I play the game? And I knew that if I could pay it off before 6 years, then I've won the game, basically. So I kind of gamified it.
I love that.
And it was fun. It was fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. There were times where like I would eat tinned tomatoes on toast and I'd eat that for a whole week and it would be like, this is pretty grim. And I'd smuggle booze into the pub, like in my pants so that I could like just top up my Cokes and stuff. I mean, who hasn't really? But it was a journey. And then I had a really traumatic time after I gave birth to my son. I had a condition called post-partum psychosis, which is probably the most horrendous mental health condition that you can ever have as a new mum. It was just, to put it bluntly, fucking horrendous. I mean, trigger warning, like I didn't want to be around. I didn't want him to be around. It was horrid.
Awful.
I found out later, actually after my ADHD diagnosis, that you can have worse symptoms of postpartum depression when you have ADHD because obviously we have brains that hyperfixate on things, like lack of sleep can really kind of trigger our hormones. Hormones in ADHD, that's another story altogether. So it basically started then. I got diagnosed with a condition called Hashimoto's disease, which is essentially a condition where all of your healthy cells in your body attack your thyroid because they think it's a foreign body. Right. So I was super tired all the time. I basically started spiraling. My mental health was on the floor. Doctors were like, she's bipolar. Like they tried to describe me as bipolar. They tried to give me all the bipolar meds. And I was just like, I'm happy a lot of the time, but then I have this dip around my period. Got diagnosed with something called PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder. That's again something that from a mental health perspective is very difficult. And then I was looking after my child and I started a business, basically really impulsively. I was at a festival and like there were some guys who were taking whatever they were taking in the tent behind us and they were super loud and I was just like, I can't sleep. And then my brain went, why don't you start a business?
I've been there.
Sounds like I do. Yeah.
So I made this idea that I was going to start a business to help people to shop local and save money at the same time, because saving money was something that I'd become really fond of. And so I started this business and I hyper-focused on it and it grew and grew and grew and it became really big. During this time, we had COVID. COVID very sadly put a nail in the coffin to my
Mm.
6-figure business that I had at the time.
Oh.
Because as you can imagine, if you can't shop local, you know, if you can't leave the house, you can't support people
That's
locally.
Just shopping
The whole
online, aren't
point
you?
was
Yeah,
about
yeah.
going physically to go to these people. Tried to turn it into an online business, failed dramatically, ended up in another £60,000 of debt because I tried to take on debt to save the business. Oh, long story. Didn't read the small print, ended up with personal guarantees, just finished paying that lot off as well.
Which is amazing.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you very
it
much.
really is.
And during this time, my son's teacher had called me into his school, and they were like, "Ben's got ADHD," and I was like, "But he's not a naughty little boy." And they were like, "No, you can have ADHD and not be a naughty little boy. Like, he's not naughty, but he's struggling." And they gave me a list of reasons, and they were like, "Why don't you go away and research it?" So I went away. Obviously, went to TikTok straight away. Fell down the TikTok rabbit hole, and I was like, "Oh, ooh." And then I came across a video that was like, adult ADHD. I was like, adult ADHD? What is this phenomenon? And then I hyper-focused on it for 6 months, and I was like, I've got ADHD. Went and got a private diagnosis because the waiting lists were quite long. Didn't know about Right to Choose at this point, so I went straight to a private diagnoser. They went bankrupt within 4 months of being alive, and I was like, maybe I don't have ADHD, because if they went bankrupt, clearly they've given me the wrong information.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I know, right? I had massive imposter syndrome about it. And also, I totally doubted myself. My internalized ableism was like through the roof. I was like, I don't have ADHD, I'm just lazy, blah, blah, blah. Like, and just all of these little things that I was telling myself. And so I thought, okay, well, the only person who's going to be able to diagnose me is a medical professional, like a psychiatrist. So I'm going to get on the waiting list. I got on Right to Choose, which was super lucky at the time because the waiting lists were actually really short. And in 9 months, I had my ADHD diagnosis. She also said to me at the time, she was like, "You know, you're autistic as well, right?" And I was like, no, I am not.
Throw that in there.
I was like, I'm not autistic. I'm so not autistic. And then I started my ADHD meds, and I was like, oh, hello, autism. There you are. So I
Do you know what as well, though?
Yeah. So
The way that...
Sorry,
go on.
Okay, so then I basically was like, this is the most fascinating thing that I've ever encountered. Like, my money story makes so much sense. And because I trained to be a money specialist, I was like, oh, okay, so if my ADHD brain does this, that's why my money is like this. I wrote a book called Mad About Money, Managing Finances and Life with ADHD. It's a bestseller. Zoe Ball talked about it on the Dig It podcast, which was really cool. Sold me lots of copies. Now I have to mention it lots so that people buy it. It's kind of like a bit of a lull at the moment. And I was
actually just saying before we think I'm getting that book and ordering it today.
And I will be honest, it's a tough read in places because I talk about some quite harrowing things that have happened to me because of my ADHD, because I feel like, do you know what, me and my ADHD, we are kind of one person. You know, when people are like, oh, don't let your ADHD define you, I'm like, but it's me, it's part of my personality, it's the way, it's the reason I'm really fucking crazy and, like, you know, whatever. They don't call me Mad Maddie for no reason. So I basically then decided that training to be a neurodiversity coach was the way forward. But my main thing has always been visibility. Like, I love getting visible for myself. Like, I live my life in accordance to my values. And that is family and friends always come first, like whatever it is, whether it's for my clients, for the people I work with, whatever. The power of community. So as you mentioned before, I've got a community which is free called the Maddyverse. It's a community not just for neurodivergence, but for anybody who's got hidden disabilities, hidden struggles. And that includes things like depression, perimenopause, grief. Like, I've been on a journey this last year with so many of these hidden struggles that I thought, do you know what? There are so many people who are struggling here that need somewhere that is safe, or at least you know, there's no such thing as a safe place, I don't think, because you can never account for other people's actions. However, it's a place where you can come, talk about your hidden disabilities, talk about your struggles, get tips, get help, and it's totally free. So, you know, that's my way of kind of giving back to the community, as long as people continue to buy my books, because at the moment I don't make a huge amount of income.
I love that. Thinking about the ADHD thing then, what's something you think you wish that people understood about ADHD that often gets overlooked?
Where do I start? There's so many things. I've literally just been on the BBC talking about, and fighting a doctor who was like, yes, you can get acquired ADHD from too much screen time. I'm like, no, you fucking can't. Like,
an actual
honestly,
doctor
It's
as
worse
well.
when
I
it's
know,
doctors.
I
It's
know.
so much
And
worse.
I was just like, politely, doctor, I disagree. With all due respect, like, honestly, there are so many misconceptions, and I think I fight daily on my social media to try and raise awareness for what people's conceptions and preconceived ideas are about ADHD. So many people think you're just being lazy, just fucking get on with it. Not the case at all. Apparently, everybody who's got ADHD has blue hair as well. Like it's part of the uniform. You too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But it's a really tough one, because I think the press is so negative about ADHD. The public conceptions are really bad about ADHD. We're benefit scroungers. We're people who should just get jobs. Mostly mostly people who are disabled actually do work, and they want to work because we want to. We overcompensate to prove the fact that we are worthy people. They don't see the 50 to 60 hours that I work behind the scenes, and then they're like, get a job. And it's like, oh, you can spend all this time replying to our comments, but you're not earning. And it's like, little do you know that every comment you leave
your
is
comments
money.
just earn me money. Tick, ka-ching.
But there are loads of misconceptions. Like, it's a brain difference. It's a neurological, neurodevelopmental condition, and it's not something that you can just get. You have it from birth. It's genetic. It's something that is not always obvious. Like, I know so many people, especially women, who have gone for diagnosis, who have been turned away because they were good girls at school.
That's it.
People don't take into consideration how hard girls mask, because we weren't supposed to be naughty. We were supposed to be doing what we were doing, and we suppressed all of that stuff, and then we turn into very naughty adults, which is my excuse.
And I think that's the same for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I love it when we get someone on and they talk about stuff, and I think, oh my goodness, that's me. I was the same. I was 37 and the exact same story. And I can see Donna looking at me. She gives me a little look saying, that's you. And it's the exact same.
But I think we had the misconception that ADHD was all just like jumping about and stuff. And your son.
I never knew a thing about it. I was one of them that thought ADHD is naughty boys in the back of the classroom.
I think,
until I was going through the questionnaire for my son, and I started the questionnaire, and I'm like, I've got this, and then I was like, oh shit, I've actually got this. Oh no,
I call it oh, that's me. Like that. That's that's the moment. But also there are so many different types of ADHD. I mean,
that's it.
Main types: hyperactive, inattentive, combined. I was blessed with combined. I actually think that anyone who's just got hyperactive is probably doing okay sometimes. The inattentive is the one that has so many more struggles, and bless anybody who's got just inattentive ADHD, because I'm always like, oh, the fun side's not counteracting that, and it's it's so difficult. There's this narrative that ADHD is a superpower. ADHD is a disabling condition. It is a disability. It is not a superpower. However, I do say that if you get to know and understand yourself, like your values, the core things that matter to you, how you like to show up in the world, as a visibility strategist, this is something that I help people to do. You can find your inner superpower. It's not your ADHD, but your ADHD can contribute to it. Does that make sense?
It's almost like how you control that ADHD, isn't it? That's kind of the superpower, is how you live with it and how you...
And this is the thing. I mean, people get a lot of stick when they're going out there, especially celebrities, and I think this is quite wrong, where celebrities are like, ADHD is a superpower, I love it, and I'm in television because I've got ADHD. It's like, great, that's brilliant. What we don't see is that all of the struggles that you've had to get to that point. There are going to be, like, I mean, if you're working in TV, how many friends have you had to fall out with to get to that place? Because communication can be hard. But also as well, it helps with that press narrative where people think, oh yeah, ADHD is brilliant. Why are all these people struggling, and why are they trying to claim benefits, when actually it's not always that easy. So I think when you hear somebody saying ADHD is a superpower, they've got every right to think that their own ADHD is a superpower, but it's not. They just haven't got to know what their internal superpower is. It's probably that they're confident, they're really good at talking. Because I get this all the time. I'm like, how do you go on TV and radio? Like, if you're disabled, surely you can't do that. I'm like, being disabled doesn't affect my ability to talk or have. Like, I mean, are you saying that everybody who's disabled needs to be mute now? Okay, all right then, mate.
You cannot leave the house.
No, we're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed to have fun. We're definitely not allowed to dance at festivals.
Oh.
So I wanted to mention this, actually.
Yes.
I've been really impressed with how you've handled like trolls and the comments and stuff in the past, especially in the past week or two. And I just wanted to talk more about it because I struggle with that. We've only had a couple of negative comments, and I'll hide behind the couch, and that's me. I'm scared. No, we're not doing that anymore. Podcast is cancelled. I'm not.
You better not, because this is a good podcast, guys. Like,
Thank you.
Okay, so the one thing that I will say is that it has taken me years and years and years of abuse online for me to get to a point where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Like the first time I ever got thrown under the bus by the press, which was, we will call it affectionately Sickfluencer-gate, which happened about 2 years ago, where I was on the front page of the Daily Mail and the front page of the Telegraph. Woman boasts about how much she gets in benefits. She's lying to the government, essentially. And it was just like, whoa. And for the first probably day, I was like, oh my God, everyone hates me, like the whole world's against me. Until I realised that when you get publicised in papers that you don't align with, and you post about it online, all the people that love you come to you, and like the amount of support and the amount of love I've had from my community has been so good. And also, I'm a bit of a comedian. Like, my husband always says to me, "You're not funny," but like, actually, I think I am quite funny.
Don't listen to it.
Yeah, screw him. Like, who is he anyway? So I just thought, like, how can I make the best of this? And I just thought, do you know what? Maddy the Troll Slayer was born.
Nice.
Like,
Love that.
not Maddy the Troll Layer, the Troll Slayer. I mean, a bit like Buffy. But it's the only way to slay trolls is to beat them at their own game, but in a witty way. So, like, somebody said to me the other day, do you use ChatGPT to come back to trolls? I'm like, no. Like, I'm so used to it that I can just think of witty comebacks, and it's just easy for me to do. If you get troll comments, and especially if it's only one or two, use ChatGPT, put the comment in, how do I respond to this in a witty way? Like, they soon get bored. Like, I've still got my video that I did the other day for Good Morning Britain is still going viral. I was talking about whether people who have got ADHD should be entitled to having a blue badge to be able to park in the disabled space. If people went and actually watched the entire video, they would know that, like, I didn't apply for a blue badge because of my ADHD. I applied for my understand loss, which is a connective tissue disorder, which means that a lot of the time I struggle to walk or move, basically. It's not because of my brain. That's not to say, however, that people with ADHD, some people might struggle so much that they might need a blue badge. Absolutely. Especially with children. Like, I was saying this only this morning, like, my 10-year-old used to be a runner. I have got the deepest scar on my knee from where I jumped in front of a car to rescue him. I mean, he still says, "Mummy, do you remember that time when you jumped in front of a car to rescue me?" And I'm like, well, I wouldn't do it now, mate. So, like, I can't, there's no jumping here. Like, especially not at festivals. I'm not allowed to do that.
No.
But it was, the thing is, it's so important that, I mean, and I've had so many people from the ADHD community coming at me being like, "Oh, I've got ADHD and I'd never dream of having a blue badge." It's like, that's fine. If your ADHD is great, that's brilliant. You found those coping mechanisms. You found those ways to help your brain. There are lots of people who don't have the access to that. They don't have the finances. They don't have the equipment. Maybe they're not in work. And actually, those people might struggle to get from A to B. So that might be why they need it. Absolutely. But people are so internally ableized that they're just like, I mean, the internal ableism is rife.
So our podcast focuses largely on the fact that Adam has ADHD, but I don't have ADHD. And we talk about relationships and stuff. How has the ADHD affected any relationships that you've had, like friendships? husband, etc., kids?
Okay, so I talk about this a lot in my book. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of my past relationship fuck-ups in my book.
I love it.
I have changed all of the names to silly names to protect people's characteristics. However, like, I mean, first of all, limerence. I don't know if you've heard of limerence, but essentially
Yeah.
it's the hyper focus we get on people, and it can be absolutely devastating for ADHD brains. It is like the amount of people that I genuinely loved from afar until I was like quite young. Then I had problems with relationships, problems with communication. I've always been really ambitious, and you know, I had a partner who had a drinking problem and was quite violent at times. And you know, I think a lot of people who have got ADHD can fall into, you know, I'm not say fall into that trap. They can be victims of domestic violence, which is really sad, because we have that thing where we're people pleasers, and we think we have to stay with somebody because they're our person, whereas actually we don't necessarily spot those signs of domestic abuse. So relationships are hard. You know, I am really lucky that I found my person. He is my best friend. He is my neurotypical husband.
Oh, that's like me. I call myself neuronormal.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is, right? I mean, I don't think that you can listen to Manic Street Preachers every single day of the year and not be neurodivergent. I mean, like,
absolutely, yeah.
But the thing is, he's neurotypical enough to be able to cope with me and two neurodivergent children. Like, you know, we've got an ADHD boy, a very autistic. Well, I'd say very autistic. She's autistic. She's probably, like, she's not diagnosed yet. She's probably level 2, but she's very PDA. She's quite hard work. Adorable, both of them. I love my children. And we have very open conversations about neurodiversity in our house.
Amazing.
Because we have to. So they understand it. The only time when Ben's like, he's like, well, I haven't tidied my room because I've got ADHD. I'm like, not an excuse, mate. Not an excuse. Like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to body double you, and I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to do my work in your bedroom while you tidy around me, mate.
Love that, the body doubling.
It's our house.
That
We've
is our
just
house.
had that exact conversation last week.
Yes.
And I think it's important to be open with it, especially when I realised about my son and myself. Then I think that's one good thing that it's brought an openness where we can have these conversations.
But Cameron's the same though. He's like, oh, but I've watched your podcast this week. I know that, you know, I've got ADHD, so I don't need to do that. And you know, do you know what I mean? Like, he's brilliant. Kids are smart.
Yeah,
kids are smarter than we realise.
They are, and especially neurodivergent kids. They are. Like, I mean, that's another common misconception. People who are neurodivergent are stupid. Like, it is so far from the truth. Like, I definitely don't think I'd be able to come back with all my troll comebacks if I was stupid. My son's just done his SATs. He's done really well. In fact, he gets his results today.
Amazing.
My daughter is number 1 in her entire school on numbots because she's hyper-focused so much on learning maths, and she's like a maths genius. Like,
brilliant.
I mean, I kind of knew she was a genius when she was making like quite complex Lego at the age of 2, but like, I was like, there might be some autism in there somewhere. But it doesn't mean you're not clever. Like, actually, it's just a different way of your brain operating. So like, it's really interesting. I was watching, I don't know if you've seen Rivals on Prime.
I've not watched it yet. It's on my list.
It's good. It's a good one. But one of the characters is dyslexic, and they're like, oh, she can't read because she's dyslexic, and they totally fob her off. But then later on in the storyline, they bring her in, and they're like, well, she's clever, you know, she can do this, and actually she can do this thing, which was quite nice. I looked at that, I was like, well done. Thank you very much there. But this is the thing, like, I was dismissed as a child. I got diagnosed with dyslexia when I was 7. They thought I needed glasses because I couldn't see the board and I was copying it down wrong. Went to get glasses, loved them, made it even worse because I was like, can't actually see anything. Really can't see anything now because I've got glary things. They were just like, they just kind of cast me aside as if I was nothing. You know, she's stupid. And then I went on to prove them wrong. I was like, you know, I was the best person at spelling in my school. I was the best person at maths and times tables. And do you know how I learned times tables? Repetitively, by listening to a cassette tape.
Nice.
We learn in different ways, and I think it's really interesting to, you know, this is why podcasts are really good for education, because neurodivergent people listen. And this is the brilliant thing about my book, that I have to say, it's dyslexic friendly. If you're not a reader, It's an easy read. Go and have a look at the Amazon reviews, apart from the latest one, because that's a bit shit. Don't read that one.
We'll skip past that one.
Apparently, it's too much about my journey, not enough about money. So, like, you know, it's yeah. So, sorry about that. One person on the internet who doesn't like me.
They're the good
join the
reviews.
rest. Join the rest of them. Like,
Yeah.
But the audiobook is coming very soon. In fact, I've got a meeting on Tuesday to like actually get it out on Amazon, so it should be very, very soon. So if you want,
you did put a video up, didn't you, of recording the audiobook?
Yes.
I remember seeing a video of you like, yeah.
So I must admit, that's how I read. I don't know what do you even say. I listen to books, so I've listened to a lot more books.
It was
recently.
hard. It was really hard as a dyslexic person, but the good thing is my book is so dyslexic friendly that made it easier.
Yeah.
I had to sit there and read my own book, and I'm like, but there was a lot of retakes, there was a lot of outtakes, there was a lot of fuckity foos, like, because I mean,
Amazing.
being a fly on the wall for my audiobook recording would have been really funny, but like,
should have set a camera up in the corner.
I did. I actually recorded pretty much the whole thing so I could get the outtakes because I knew that there were going to be so many.
Excellent.
So just quickly then, so you mentioned that you're a visibility coach.
Yes.
What does, for our viewers, like I wasn't sure about this either, so what does a visibility coach actually do? What does that entail?
Yeah, so I mainly work with businesses to help them to discover who they are so that they can show up in their business in a way that makes them more money. So they can show up online, they can show up in the press, they can speak, they can do all things to get their business visible. But you can't get yourself visible if you have internalized ableisms, if you have imposter syndrome, if you have issues with confidence and that kind of thing. So I start from the ground up and I work with people to help them to discover who they are so that they can show up in the world. And it's not just showing up in your business. It might be showing up in your relationship or showing up with your friends. You know, I've got a lot of experience dealing with different friendship dynamics and stuff like that. So it's essentially about making yourself visible in whatever way you need to be, because we shouldn't be hiding or shrinking just because we've got ADHD. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's something that we should be proud of. It's what makes us. So that's what I do is and it's not just ADHD either. I work with anybody who's got any hidden disability to help them to have the confidence to show up.
That
is amazing, because that can be a massive struggle, especially trying to run your own business.
100%.
And you can, as you say, with the imposter syndrome and everybody hates me and I don't want to do this. And so
because like Adam, you're a kids entertainer at weekends, aren't you?
Nice.
And when I watch Adam at his parties, and I think that's a different person to what I see at home and etc. And
then I come off and I won't speak to anybody. I'm shy.
we need rest time for our brains to recover. Like, you know, I can be sociable for a certain amount of time, and then I have to go and lie in a dark room on the floor with my eyes closed because I can't people anymore. Like, and this is the thing: people see you, and it's the same with hidden disabilities. People see you for that 5 minutes a day where you're doing something and you're pushing through that barrier, and then you have to step back because of the time it takes to regenerate yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And tell us about the Maddyverse then, because this got me intrigued as well. So how did that come about? What's it all about?
So, I mean, the Maddyverse idea came about probably, I'd say 2 years ago. It was kind of like a hatred for social media, I guess.
Okay.
It was like, I want to turn up and I want to talk about the things that are affecting me without people going, oh, you're making it up. Oh, it doesn't exist. Blah, blah, blah. All of these things. And I wanted there to be somewhere, like a central place where you didn't have to worry about growing a following, because that's stressful, right?
Yeah.
Where you can just show up and have conversations with people, make friends, have community, ask questions, get support for the stuff that you need, for free, because, you know, like all of the other social media platforms are free. I didn't really want to make it a paid thing. There is a paid level, so if you want to go up to the core, you can, which is £27 a month, and that gives you like group coaching, body doubling, like all of the other things, the tools that you really need to kind of to stabilize yourself. But the community is free, and it's basically a universe where hidden disabilities are visible. And there's no judgment, there's no trolls, there's anyone who's caught trolling or saying anything that's nasty,
They're out.
They're out. But after a conversation with me, because I was in a community once where I got chucked out and for being, not their cup of tea, basically. And I didn't get the opportunity to explain myself, and I was dysregulated. I was grieving. I just lost my dad. I was in a really bad place. And I realised that, I used to have a no arseholes allowed in my community type of thing. But actually, if you're being an arsehole, there's probably a reason for it. And it's probably because you're struggling with something. And actually, that's when people often need the help the most. So if someone comes in and they're like, they're racist, homophobic, transphobic, any of those things, they get out straight away. You do not tolerate any bullshit. But if somebody disagrees with you and then someone gets upset, there's a bit of mediation that goes on there. And
that sounds amazing, especially to have like a place for some people who may be worried about Facebook and TikTok and stuff, to just have where everyone's kind of in the same boat and stuff.
It's a safer place. There's no such thing. I mean, you can't guarantee that people, the way that people are, you can't always be safe. You can get bots, you can get scammers, but I mean, it's less likely in my platform because there's a process you have to go through to get in. Brilliant.
And finally, just to kind of like round off, we ask our viewers to send in the good, bad and ugly about ADHD. I'm going to put you on the spot now. And I'd love for you, I know, I'm sorry, I'd love for you to tell us what would be your good, bad and ugly about ADHD.
Okay, so the good part is my hyper focus on my business. Like, I genuinely don't think that I would be a business owner if I didn't do something that I really fucking loved. ADHD helps me to get out of bed every single day. It helps me to show up. It helps me to show up for my community. So I would say that's the good. The bad is communication issues, I think. Okay. Sometimes communication issues, like in the past especially, they've led me to losing jobs, they've led me to losing friends and stuff like that. So I think sometimes we can't communicate or advocate for ourselves in the way that we want to. So I think that would be the bad. And then the ugly has to be rejection sensitivity dysphoria. Like, I mean, I have done so much work on myself to name it and shame it, like look at it and being like, what is real about this situation? Like, is it perceived? Is it real? What's the damage that's done? What's the worst case scenario? And working on all of those things has helped me to understand it better. I can be scrolling through social media and I can be like, oh my God, someone's made a post about me and it's really horrible and I don't like it. And I look at it and I'm like, how can I respond to this in a way that's funny? And then it gives me dopamine. So I'm like, great, let's just do it that way.
That.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But RSD is like, it's so hard for so many people. It is something which stops us from showing up. I'm currently writing my next book, which is called Mad About Business. Nice. And that is all about visibility and showing up and advocating for yourself when you have ADHD and other hidden conditions. It's basically a Bible to surviving all the shit bits. With a lot of my experience kind of thrown in and things that I've learned and my tips from being in the coaching industry. Because, I do just do kind of generic business coaching for people as well. But, it always leads back to I'm not making enough money. And if you're not making enough money, it's because not enough people know you exist. And what does that mean? Visibility. So that's kind of where I specialise. But yeah, I would say those are definitely the ones.
They're the good ones. RSD comes up a lot, doesn't it? Yeah, brilliant.
That's so interesting. I want to deep dive in that later. I need to book an appointment because that's if I had known 15 years ago about ADHD, because I've always been self-employed, and I believe it would have changed everything.
Yeah, definitely.
You'll need to read my next book.
Definitely.
And this one. So the current one.
Yeah. So let's end then with the promotion of the book. So Mad About Money is available. Oh, here we go. Do we have a?
Have you got a book?
It's a chunky book. It's like I always like to say that if you don't read it and it ends up like, it can be multi-purpose. You can use it as a doorstop. You can whack your husband with. You can use it to prop up table legs, that kind of thing. So like it's multi-purpose. But
there's a children's version as well. well? Am I right?
No, so the children's book is this one. Again, just throwing stuff. This is That's My Money.
Nice.
Not
That's My Money,
specifically, not specifically for ADHD. This is like for any children. It's about managing money when you're a child. It's aimed at 6 to 9 year olds. It's got a game in it as well that you can play with coins.
Love
See, I love that. Then that would be really good because, like, I'm
You
very,
tell I
very
like
big
bright
on
colours.
Yeah, I love
that's
it.
amazing.
I love it. And where can people find you on socials?
I am a social media whore, so I'm everywhere. Like,
Love that.
That's what I want to be.
Yeah, Maddy Talks Money on Instagram, Mad About Money Official on TikTok, Maddy Alexander-Grout everywhere else. If you Google me, you'll get all my press articles and my TV appearances and all of those kind of things as well. So,
Brilliant.
yeah, I'm fairly easy to find. I mean, with a name like Maddy Alexander-Grout,
I know it's not. Yeah, it's
not
unusual.
common, is it? It's not like I'm Jane Smith or anything. Sorry, Jane Smith, if there's any of you out there. Like,
I've been watching your podcast as well, which is amazing.
Oh,
I've loved all the guests that you've had on and stuff. So I started from the beginning,
Yes.
and I'm about 10 episodes in, so I'm really enjoying that as well.
amazing.
I could sit and talk all day, I think. Yeah, but maybe we need a part 2 one day.
Yeah.
Oh, you can come on my podcast as well.
Oh, sold.
Oh,
Yes, sold. It's been so lovely to speak to you. Thanks so much for your time and thanks for coming on.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks, Maddy.
you.
See you
Bye-bye.
later.